You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Well, good morning, good morning.
We're ending the week this way.
We talk the whole night through. Good morning to you and you and you. Hey,
You're so awesome.
you know what? I don't think have I ever done that on a Friday?
Never on a Friday.
I don't think so.
I think we can go back through almost 1,000 episodes, and you've never done it on a Friday.
I don't think I have. So, good morning, Vietnam.
What a blessing you are to us, Chris.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
So this week is everybody's favorite.
Ooh, because it is
everybody's
Friday.
favorite segment
It
on
is
a Friday.
Yep.
What made Chris mad this week? So you stepped out for just a second.
I did.
Right? In between episodes here that we're recording.
As my custom is.
And so I just typed into ChatGPT,
Yes.
what made Chris mad this week?
What?
Yes, I did.
Why would you ask him that?
I'm just curious.
And what did he have to say?
Can you,
And how would he
clarify which Chris you mean? You and I talk about a few different people by that name.
What?
For example, Chris Zarbaugh, Heritage Church, or possibly another Chris you're connected with. If you tell me which one you're asking about, I can help track down what frustrated him this week. Did you mean Pastor Chris Zarbaugh or someone else?
Come on.
That's what,
It said that?
That's what it says. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So then I said Zarbaugh. And he said, I don't have a record of what specifically made Chris Zarbaugh mad this week. Do you want me to take a look through your connected files and notes to see if anything about him came up, or are you asking more generally because you heard he seemed upset? So it seems genuinely concerned about you. Isn't that nice?
He's so nice.
Yeah.
I've nicknamed him a he.
I said, we have a segment on the podcast each week that asks that question, and I was wondering what your guess would be to that question.
Oh, my goodness.
So I didn't say the name of the podcast.
Right.
And it says, got it. You're talking about the Bible Guys weekly segment, What Made Chris Mad This Week.
You have got
Since
to be
Chris Zarbaugh
kidding me.
usually gets worked up about funny everyday frustrations, more observational than heavy, here are a few likely guesses
Wait a
you
minute.
could use for this week's
How does it
bit.
know?
It knows because it's all on the internet. Everything we do is on the internet.
That is crazy stuff.
So it says funny everyday frustrations. So it says, here are a few likely guesses that you could use for this week's bit.
Are you kidding me?
Possible things that made Chris mad this week.
This is,
Parking lot shenanigans,
oh, my word.
restaurant annoyances,
That is actually in the category of what I'm going to share.
tech trouble, like your phone auto-correcting something embarrassing or an app that updates itself right when you need it,
Yeah.
shopping irritations,
Wow.
sports rage,
Yeah.
Lions preseason hype already getting to him, or someone trash-talking the Tigers. That's funny.
Wow.
And then airline gripes, boarding groups that don't follow the rules, or people standing up second the plane lands, something like that. Said you could set it up, and then it suggests to me, I could set it up by saying something like, all right, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, What Made Chris Mad this
Literally,
week?
it said that?
Yeah. And then
It's scary.
it says, hey, Jeff, I've got a few guesses. Was it parking lot people again? Or maybe the self-checkout at Kroger? Or did Siri betray you again? Yeah. Then it
Okay.
says, would you like me to cook up a top 5 list you could rotate through each week?
Okay.
I could do greatest hits. Is that amazing? Dude, ChatGPT's watching you.
And not only that, but like
It
it's
knows you.
We've all seen the movie Terminator. It's coming,
It's
buddy.
coming. Mhm.
iRobot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how do
Or
we
what
not
about
know?
HAL? HAL 2000 or whatever it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, the robot turns, and
It was
men
nice at
become
first.
slaves.
It was worried about you.
It's the Matrix.
Does Chris seem upset?
It's also the Matrix,
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
There are plenty of movies that warn us of this.
It's coming.
It is coming. That
in the meantime-
friendly little device is going to be our doom. It's going to be the doom of all of us.
Well, I'm the one who voted the other day to go back to flip phones. So, yeah. Anyways, go
Okay,
ahead. So,
well-
what made you mad this week
well-
besides the fact that ChatGPT knows what makes you mad?
Wow. Well, so here's what happens to the listeners. Let's give the listeners a little bit of insight because this is going to be a pretty quick segment.
Okay.
So usually what happens is we come in, we record 5 episodes at a time, and if it comes down, we never look at them. We don't prep.
We don't prep.
Right, and we especially our segments.
Clearly we don't prep.
We don't prep. But no, seriously, because, and by the way, that's intentional. We do that intentionally because we believe that a person can sit down, read a passage of scripture, and then talk about it in interesting ways.
Yeah.
That is meaningful, applicable.
So this is like you and your buddy sitting down at a coffee shop and just
That's right.
chit-chatting about
That's right.
something you just read in the Bible.
So, and then we don't prep segments because it's usually better when we just do
It's
it
more
on the
fun.
spot. It's
It's
more
more
fun.
fun. Yeah.
So anyway.
and we
so-
don't prep because we're lazy.
But to come up with something that makes me mad, I usually have to think about that for a minute.
Yes.
So what do I traditionally do? I go visit the restroom.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You have a potty break.
Yeah, so I go visit the restroom because we've already recorded 4, and I said, let me go think. Well, as I was washing my hands, I actually thought to myself,
Which, thank you for that. By
you're
the way.
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome. As I was doing that, I actually thought to myself, it has been quite a while. It's been quite a while since I've talked about my frustrations with a server, right? In fact, it was probably that last, remember they're closing early? Remember that was
I remember that
was
one.
a long time ago, right? So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to express what happened today at lunch. So today, something made me mad today.
Okay.
All right. Now, ultimately, here's the main thing that made me mad. Why is it that a server will come out, bring you all your food, and then say, everything look okay? You say yes. Then all of a sudden they disappear forever.
For eternity.
For eternity.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And so it's actually...
You could have eaten 3 lunches in the amount of time it took for them to come back.
Okay, and here's the thing. Ready for this, servers?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't new information. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence if you're a server, but I'm pretty sure every human being already knows what I'm going to say right before I say it. And that is, it's actually the most critical time to check on a person after they've received their food. Right? So, hey, oh man, you forgot the ketchup, or you forgot this, you forgot that,
right.
or can I please have this, or hey, I'm missing a knife, or whatever it is, right? It's most critical to check on something while it's still hot and see if they're okay after they try their food.
So you set it down. Does everything look okay? That's a fair question in the moment, but the reality is we're so excited about getting our plate, we don't remember all the things or see all the things we need. So come back like 3 minutes later and say, you guys still all set? And then that lets me, I need A1. I need a little bit. Do you have salt, pepper?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because
you're
chances,
prepping to eat at that point.
Chances are, if you need something, it's going to be after you take a few bites.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so that's the ultimate thing that was not good today.
Okay.
However, the other thing that was in addition to this, and by the way, her not coming back
this is a double.
added to this.
Double whammy.
If I were to say to you, I'm going to order a loaded baked potato, because I already told you I had steak,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Today. A loaded baked potato. What comes on that potato, Jeff?
In my mind, a loaded baked potato is going to be a split baked potato.
That's correct.
That's going to have some sour cream.
Yep.
Some cheese.
Yep.
A little bit of bacon.
Yep.
Yeah, and maybe something else.
Maybe butter.
Just a little butter. Or something.
And sometimes some chives.
Yeah, chives. Yeah. Something a little green on the top.
Something okay. Okay, now, the very first thing out of your mouth was sour cream.
Yes.
So I ordered a loaded baked potato with my steak today. And I'm not going to tell you the restaurant because I don't want to down the restaurant or anything.
Just give us the initials.
But it's Aspen Restaurant, right on Hall Road. And I said a loaded baked potato. And they came with this potato with no butter on it, and no sour cream. And it was loaded with a tiny bit of cheese, and then like piles and piles of like soft bacon. And then these actually it was green onions.
Green onions are good on
Yeah,
those.
green onions are good.
Yeah.
It was the driest baked potato in the history of potatoes.
Yeah, because there was no sour cream or no butter.
Or no butter.
Right.
So as I'm eating pounds of floppy, soft bacon and hardly any cheese.
So it was loaded. It was just loaded with bacon.
It was loaded with soft bacon.
Yeah.
And notice how I said soft. Nasty bacon.
Not bacon bits bacon.
Yeah. So it was cooked bacon, but it was just nasty cooked bacon. And as I'm eating the pounds of bacon on this dry potato, I actually thought to myself, this is not loaded because where's the butter and where's the sour cream? No. Loaded is, everybody knows what loaded means.
Loaded
the
is
whole
a week's
world.
Loaded is a week's worth of cholesterol.
The world knows what loaded means.
It's a week's worth of cholesterol.
And furthermore, it can't be dry.
That's right.
So anyway, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, I need sour cream.
These
and then
people.
Hey, where's the waitress? Like dust billows. You know,
what waitress? Did you have a waitress?
Tumbleweeds go across the restaurant.
I don't think you call them waitresses anymore. We have to call them servers.
We call them servers. Yeah, that's for sure.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Anyway, let's end the segment because we're at our time.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, but you're with me on this.
Thank you. I'm with you
on both accounts.
Truly, both accounts.
Thank you.
Truly, these are two things I loathe.
Yes.
Loathe them.
And by the way, I actually said to the guy I went to lunch with our staff, Quinn.
Yeah.
I actually said to Quinn, I said, my very first thought, I swear to you, this is true. My first thought immediately was not for me.
Not for you.
I thought to myself,
what kind of world are we living in where all these people are suffering like I'm suffering right now?
Here's what I thought.
Yes.
I thought, how come this passes the test of loaded baked potato.
Yeah.
So did they just forget the sour cream and butter? Or does nobody complain? Does nobody say anything? Is this okay?
Yeah.
How does this survive?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I can imagine how difficult of a life you're living in this.
Yeah.
in
Well,
this moment.
I mean, I know you.
I
know you just came back from Africa.
All the lost
But
puppies,
I didn't have any sour cream.
All the lost puppies and kittens out in the world.
Yeah.
All the children missing a meal today.
We
and you didn't
go.
have any sour cream on your potato.
We gotta go. I went
know,
long in this segment.
I know. That was a good one, though. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris,
Hey.
for your anger on behalf of all of us.
Speaking of
It was a challenging moment.
going long,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus actually stayed on the earth after his resurrection for a pretty long time.
did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he appears to his 7
40
disciples,
days,
is what
yeah.
mine says. Look,
Yeah, 50.
he appears to his 7 disciples. It says the word 7.
Oh, there's only 7 of them in this story, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah. But this is a challenge, too, right? And that was a challenging experience in your life.
Oh, that was your
Yeah,
transition?
that was going to be my transition.
Did I hog all the
Yeah,
transitions?
No. It's okay. It's okay. This was your week.
Okay.
So after breakfast, so we're in John chapter 21, verse 15. It says, after breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, Peter replied. You know I love you. Then feed my lambs, Jesus told him. Jesus repeated the question, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Then, yes, Lord, Peter said. You know I love you. Then take care of my sheep, Jesus said. A third time he asked him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? And Peter was hurt that Jesus asked him the question a third time. He said, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Then Jesus said, then feed my sheep. I tell you the truth, when you were young, you were able to do as you liked. You dressed yourself and went wherever you wanted to go. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and others will dress you and take you where you don't want to go. Jesus said this to let him know by what kind of death he would glorify God. And then Jesus told him, follow me.
Well,
Wow.
I feel like we need to read the end here.
I'll read the end then. Peter turned around and saw behind him the disciple Jesus loved, the one who had leaned over to Jesus during the supper and asked, Lord, who will betray you? And Peter asked Jesus, what about him, Lord? Jesus replied, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? As for you, follow me. So the rumor spread among the community of believers that this disciple wouldn't die, but that isn't what Jesus said at all. He only said, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? This disciple is one who testifies to these events and has recorded them here. We know that that his account of these things is accurate. Jesus also did many other things. If they were all written down, I suppose the whole world could not contain the books that would be written.
That's what I wanted you to read.
Yeah,
I wanted you to read that because I love that phrase.
I suppose the whole world
The whole
cannot contain the
world
books that
cannot
would be written.
contain the books that could be written or that would be written.
That's great.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. What a great phrase.
Yep.
If we wrote down everything that Jesus either did or was a part of or thought, the whole world would
John
not be able to.
supposes that the whole
John
world
supposes.
Yes, that
right?
the whole world cannot contain the books.
I think that's a great statement.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the reasons why I liked you reading that is because I love also how John breaks the fourth wall,
Yeah.
and he says, "Guess who that guy was? That was me.
Yeah, the one Jesus loved. It was me.
It was
this
me.
guy.
It was this guy."
So it's funny. Through this whole book,
Yeah.
he humbly never mentions his own name.
Right.
The whole book, he never mentions his name. He just
Yes.
goes, the disciple Jesus loves. Never says it, but he cannot get to the end of his book without saying, actually, it was me.
Here's the big reveal. He loved me.
It's so funny. And John was the youngest of the disciples.
Right,
Right?
right.
So that just makes it even funnier to me.
Right,
I think
right.
that, it was great.
It was really, really
I
funny.
love this guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the beginning of the passage that you started to read,
Oh, here
it
it comes.
says, yep, there's a yawn. It starts with Jesus asking him 3 questions.
Oh, it's so great.
So, Jeff, why did Jesus ask Peter the same question 3 times?
I believe Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loved him because it aligns with the fact that Peter denied Jesus 3 times.
Yeah.
He denied Jesus 3 times before his death. He's given him 3 opportunities to come back and go, no, Jesus, I really loved you.
Yeah, and even though we didn't read that story, the Bible says that when Peter heard the rooster crow, that it actually says in one of the Gospels, I think it was actually in John, where it says the Lord turned and looked at Peter, and then the rooster crowed.
Yeah. Oh, can you know how Imagine how brutal that was.
Yes.
They make eye contact
Yes.
after Peter just denied him the third time.
And he cussed, and he was cussing, right? To try to prove that he didn't have the same language or the
Right.
behavior as a Galilean.
Right.
So what does he do? He cusses. He cusses this young girl who's accusing him, and denies Jesus 3 times. And then it says, and then he remembered. To that point, he didn't remember.
Right.
But Jesus had said, "You're going to deny me before the rooster crows."
Yeah.
And that was just after Jesus said, "I'll follow you to death."
Yeah.
And Jesus looks at him.
Peter had said that.
Yeah, Peter
to
says,
Jesus.
"I'm going to follow you. We'll die for you."
Yeah.
And Jesus looks at him and says, "Die for." I mean, he didn't say it this way, but he goes like, "Die for me. Before the rooster crows in the morning, you're going to deny me 3 times."
Yeah.
And then it says that the Lord turned and looked at Peter. Now, by the way, that was in the Caiaphas's courtyard. Were you there at Caiaphas's house?
No, we didn't get there. It was closed. The day we were there.
Oh man, there's like a courtyard, and there's like some gates, and you would have thought that like if Jesus went into Caiaphas's yard, the commoners would still be out there, because this is a prominent person's house. They would go there sometimes to petition to Caiaphas.
Right.
So there was like a courtyard of commoners, and so the door, and so it must have been. And it doesn't have to be this way, but there's a good chance that Jesus was beyond the gates. He gets his sentencing, and Caiaphas is like, "Take him to Herod," and all these different things. And all of a sudden the gates open, and then all of a sudden that's when they're able to look at each other. And then the rooster crows. And then it says, Peter goes out and weeps bitterly. Well, if you think about it, how would you feel? Jesus comes back to life. He is the resurrected Messiah.
Oh, I think you'd have a hard time making eye contact.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think so?
Well, you don't find Peter being very assertive after the resurrection until this moment.
Right.
It's Thomas, it's James and John.
Right.
Only Peter ran to the tomb, but after that, you don't really find Peter talking much. Right? We hear more from Thomas and John during these times than we did in all the rest of the stories combined, just about.
Yeah.
Right? But then James, but then all of a sudden there's this moment. I think as bullheaded and out front as Peter always was, after the resurrection up until this moment, I think Peter was pretty reserved and he'd be just so embarrassed.
Well, he probably felt like he was sort of the leader of the disciples.
Yeah.
He
was the oldest of the disciples.
He was the oldest. Yeah. And he certainly was looked upon as one of the chief leaders, right? Mm-hmm. He was always chosen and handpicked by Jesus. Like you said, he was older. And
Jesus has said, "I'm going to build my church on you."
Yeah.
Jesus already said, "Dude, I have so many plans for you."
Yeah.
Right? On this rock, all this kind of stuff. And now I let you down. I probably blew it.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, I think that he was embarrassed and ashamed in front of his other disciples he was trying to be an example for, but most of all embarrassed in front of Jesus, who basically said, "Are you going to stay with me?" "Oh yeah, Lord, we'll die with you." And he looks at him and says, No, you won't.
There's a great note here, and it just reminded me of the meanings of the word love, which is fabulous. So it says, in the Life Application Study Bible, Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loved him. The first time Jesus said, "Do you love me?" In the Greek, he used the word agape.
Yeah.
Which is a volitional, it's a self-sacrificing love. That's what agape is. It's the kind of love God has for humanity. Right?
That's right.
Do you have this sacrificial love for me more than these? Do you love me more than Peter, James, and John? Not Peter, James and John and Andrew and these guys? Do you love me more? Yes, Jesus, I love you. And then he says, the second time Jesus focused on Peter alone. Now he's not comparing to the others. It's only Peter. And he says, he still uses the word agape. Are you willing to sacrifice everything for me? And he goes, yes, Jesus, I love you. And then the last one, Jesus uses the word that's translated into Greek as phileo, which is affection or brotherly love, affinity. And he's literally asking, are you even my friend? That's the question he's asking at that point. Are you even my friend?
That's really powerful.
Right? Can you imagine how painful that question was? This is why Peter gets upset. He's not upset that Jesus asked the same question 3 times. He didn't ask the same question 3 times. He asked the same question twice. Do you love me enough to sacrifice everything? Because that was his claim. Right before he denied Jesus, "I'll die for you, Jesus." So he asked him that question. "You sure you're going to die for me?" And Peter's like, "Yes, I'll die for you. I'll die for you." But the last one was not the same as the first two. The last one is, are you even my friend?
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker moment. And this is why he gets so sad. And he goes, Jesus, you know that I love you. And Jesus gives him a mission. He said, all right, then I need you to feed my sheep.
Yeah. Well, it was similar to all three questions. It just had a much different application to it.
Well, yeah,
and
but-
implication.
Yeah, well, phileo doesn't mean, will you sacrifice for me?
Right.
So, will you sacrifice for me? Yes. Will you sacrifice for me? Yes. Are you even my friend?
Yeah.
Is a whole other thing,
Yeah.
right?
And then he
Because
says,
that's the betrayal. That was, I think, the betrayal for Peter was
Yeah.
the not being his friend, not being there for Jesus when Jesus was there for him.
and I love how he tells Peter how he's going to die, and then says, "Follow me." So he said, "Hey, when you were little, you did whatever you want. You dress yourself." He said, "But when you're old, you will stretch out your hands, and others will dress you and take you where you don't want to go." And Jesus said this to let him know by what kind of death he would glorify God. And so he's basically saying someone's going to take your arms, someone's going to take your legs. When you were little, you put clothes around your arms and legs as you saw fit and did whatever you wanted to do.
Yeah.
When you're older, somebody's going to take your arms, somebody's going to take your legs,
Yeah.
and they're going to lead you where you don't want to go, and they're going to stretch out your hands. Well, stretch out your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Jesus just did
Yeah.
on the cross,
Yeah.
right? He stretched out his hands and died. So here's Jesus, and he's literally giving us insight, saying he's told him this because he was going to let him know that that's how Peter was going to die. Well, according to church tradition, we know that Peter was crucified, right?
Yeah.
He was crucified.
Yes.
But
Upside down.
Upside down. Because he asked the people crucifying him if he could be crucified upside down, because he didn't feel worthy enough to be crucified or killed in the same manner in which his Lord was.
Yeah.
So they gave him his request, and they crucified him upside down.
Yeah.
So here Peter is just, and yet he follows them. He
Yeah.
says, "Hey, by the way, are you willing to sacrifice for me? Yes. Are you willing to sacrifice for me? Yes. Are you my friend? Of course you are. Great. You're going to die in a horrific way to glorify God. Now, follow me." And
Well,
then
the
Peter
idea that
follows
death
it.
can glorify God is a really strange thing. That this method of his death was an act of worship,
Yeah.
right? Glorify God, it's an act of worship.
Well, greater love is no man than this, when a man lays down his life for his
Yeah,
friends.
Yeah. So everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
You might as well make it matter.
Right.
You might as well make it an act of worship, right? Too many Christians, honestly, too many Christians are terrified of death when Jesus already has victory over death. So since life is 100% terminal, why don't we prepare to glorify God even in our death? Right? My dad wrote me and my brothers a letter. We're all in the ministry.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
before he died, he took time and he wrote each of us a letter. He wrote some things to me that he wanted me to keep doing in ministry and things like that. He prepared to honor me and honor God in his death, right? And he pushed me towards Jesus in that moment. There's something about that. We're preparing for your death in a way where, I'm not in a hurry. But man, if Jesus really did defeat death, Paul says, "Oh, death, where is your sting? Where's your victory? Where's your sting?" Jesus took your stinger out. You don't have to be afraid of a bee that doesn't have a stinger, right?
Right.
So at that point, then death is only a transition. So pain happens, but hey, pain happens in childbirth. The reality is, you and I wouldn't have any babies if
If men had that job,
but women want babies.
right?
They want to have a baby, knowing the most difficult pain of their life is coming.
Yeah.
They say the only other pain that's similar to that is breaking your femur.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. Or
Hey, for
kidney
fun,
stones.
for fun, you want to break a femur? Oh, honey, I just want to break my femur. Right?
Yeah.
Let me break my femur. Would you? Right?
Right.
We wouldn't long for it,
Right.
but it's for the joy that is coming. That little life, that amazing thing of being a mom is so incredible, right? If we could see death, even the pain of going through it, just as the birth of that new life, it's not a problem. It's not that bad. It's a short thing that goes into eternity. It's the birth into eternity. If we could see that, then it's a totally different thing. And I think that they're standing here looking at the resurrected God-man, saying, it's not that bad, guys.
Yeah.
Right? And so he's letting him know. But I think it's still funny, even at the very end, Peter's like, yeah, I hear you're giving me mission. What about him? Remember?
Yeah, right.
And Jesus says, what does it matter to you? Follow me. And I think this is it. It doesn't matter what's going on in other people's lives. It doesn't matter that other people have blessings. Jesus says it doesn't matter. What does it matter to you? It's none of your business. I can do whatever I want to with him. You follow me. And that's every one of us, faith is a personal journey. It's not private, but it is personal. You're not automatically a follower of Jesus because your parents were. Every individual has to make this choice to be a follower of Jesus. And so this is his challenge to him is it doesn't matter what I'm doing with other people. What are you going to do with me? Are you going to follow me?
Yeah.
And he had a mission for him. Even though you failed me before, I haven't given up on you. Will you feed my sheep?
Yeah. And by the way, I have to admit, that is probably something that I might ask if Jesus looked at me directly and I'm standing next to you and he goes, yeah, you're going to die a horrific death. I'd be like, really? What about him? What about this guy? What about this guy? Right? I might say that too, right?
And John lived to be over 110 years old.
Right. And he's the only one who didn't get martyred. Yeah.
He got boiled in oil.
Well,
it's a little rough.
He got attempted martyrdom.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Living through an attempted execution might be worse than being
he might have
executed.
Miraculously survived.
Yeah.
As opposed to walking around
with no pain.
Like one big scab.
Yeah, no, it'd be. I think he was one big scar.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that is all of our time for certain. In fact, we went a little bit long, but that's because my segment was so long.
Well, no, it was a bonus section. It's a Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Friday.
Great.
Friday is extra bonus material. Hey, thanks for being with us, and hopefully we'll see you on Monday on the Bible Guys.